Hello, greetings, salutations, any other word you want to use, but welcome, Earthlings, to another episode of League Unlock. Mark and Eric. He's behind me, He's actually in the room. He's right behind me. We have a double room setup. That's how we're doing things. But
it's still social distancing.
Yeah. We can't. We're fully isolated into our own individual rooms. You can't leave. We throw food under the door, and that's it. That's how we live.
It's basically prison, but just like a couple steps better.
The most luxurious and amazing prison you can imagine.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never been to prison, but I'm gonna guess that there's at least a couple steps up here in luxury. So I'll count our blessings here.
Yeah, we might have to consult Prison Mike for that one. We're doing a weekend recap because don't know if you know, but there were a few finals over the weekend. Playoffs started in the LCK, and the regular season has now wrapped up. It's finito in the LPL. A lot of games to get through, and a lot less games than we were probably expecting because some 3-0s. Some expected, some not expected. And we start with the unexpected, which was G2 versus Fnatic. It was pretty much consensus coming into this series that people favored Fnatic. I know you and I both thought that they should be favored coming into it. G2 didn't look nearly as dominant in the playoffs leading up, even without the loss to Mad Lions, even against Origin, and their second time they played Mad Lions, it was pretty convincing. But still, who would have thought that the second match versus Mad Lions was way closer than the Fnatic one? What?
It's crazy how much that G2 were able to absolutely demolish Fnatic in this final here. And I think, again, yeah, you got to give credit to G2 and a lot of their members for the plays and the decisions that they made on the day and things like that. But I think a lot of people will be bringing the questions to Fnatic and to the coaching staff here, and specifically the drafts were a major issue throughout the course of this series here, and wasn't addressed until it was all said and done and too late. And then even at that point here, you're talking about individuals not playing up to the levels that you would expect from them on average.
Anyone you can think of in particular?
Yeah, certainly more than a few names to throw around on the Fnatic lineup as far as underperforming, and specifically got to throw our boy Whippo under the bus here for those performances. And this is one of those situations where, look, Whippo has been full on, up front saying like, look, yeah, I suck, all these performances, blah, blah, blah. Like, let me take the responsibility for this type of thing. I have to take it. And then the only thing that we have here is to move forward and try to be better next time. But that still obviously doesn't take away the sting of the disappointment here and the failure in this finals, which again is becoming something that is unfortunately for Fnatic fans here against G2. It's becoming a tradition.
And the numbers that stick out for Whippo are, first off, it's not numbers, but losing the Ornn-Zac matchup, both sides of it throughout the series. And overall, his KDA 216-7 on 3 tanks.
Yeah, and look, and Whippo had been giving us great performances almost the entirety of the split. He was incredibly consistent in the fact that, other than a Swain game, we had pretty much fantastic performances across many different champions. And then even in the playoffs, again, you saw it in the previous series against the Mad Lions, things like the Mao fight, everything like that, things were great for the top laner for Fnatic here. Absolutely the opposite this past weekend here in the finals.
And one of the biggest mismatches maybe we thought coming into this series, or at least biggest question mark, was the bot lane for G2. And Cap started against Mad Lions. They're drafting Vayne. They're putting entire team comps around him. And then we roll into the finals, and you get 2 Kog'Maw Lulu games in Season 10. A couple LPL teams have picked up Kog'Maw without the Lulu, but seeing that pick and that adaptation, and we said you got to have Caps on Dash champions. Otherwise, he's just getting caught out. Hold up. Let me pick Kog'Maw 2 games, and we'll just have Mickey follow him around on whatever Enchanter support.
But that's kind of the genius of the Kog'Maw pick, is because, you wanted to have an ADC that had a dash ability for Caps. But what if we had an ADC that didn't need to be even anywhere close to the enemy team to do damage here, that they don't even need to have a dash to get out of the way? You just push W and, let me auto attack from complete safety.
You don't even need to kite. Just, you're a turret. Press W and
it was It was beautiful, the Kog'Maw pick here, working out especially for G2 and specifically Caps here, as we've been looking for these type of things to be shored up for G2. This was a great pick that worked out phenomenally. As we said, having that distance to be able to, all he had to do was whenever Fnatic would engage type of situation, all he needs is that one flash and he can hold on to it and be safe within situations. And then just the way that Kog'Maw works with that range on that W, he's completely untouchable in these team fights. And then you add on the Lulu to help him out and keep him alive. I don't know what exactly you're supposed to do in that situation. And then you add in, of course, on G2's side, Perks playing solid on that Azir in the mid lane, that poke, that damage coming
through. The meme is dead, boys.
And that scaling coming through. What are you going to do if you're Fnatic in that situation? And we saw it twice. Twice we saw G2 absolutely obliterate a Baron and steal it right under the noses of Fnatic just because of the damage that, yes, some of the carries were fed at that point here. But Azir put up the 3 Sand Soldiers, go to town on the Baron. Kog'Maw pushes that W, starts shredding right into it there. And boom, you got Rage Blade on that Kog'Maw. You got the Nashor's Tooth on the Azir. Baron was gone out of their situation there before Fnatic could even realize it. This is one of those ones where we've seen it time and time before here. When a team comes up with something special or unique, and not that you haven't seen Kog'Maw and Lulu ever in your professional career before.
Not much in season 10.
Right, but on the day when you're seeing it as an answer and something strong from G2, a lot of people go, oh man, we got to come up with some crazy draft to come around it type of thing. Playing these type of games, your percentages are incredibly low. The best choice here that you have is to just take it away and pick and ban away these type of champions. Prove that G2 needs to come out with something different, something else to get by you than just this strategy here, because you were not able to adapt and come up with an answer when the answer should have been to get rid of these things and make G2 beat you on something different.
And the third game, which is the one that it looked like Fnatic was fully in the driver's seat. They had the Azir that was incredibly fed on Nemesis. You had the engage from the Zac, but the Janna pick from Mickey completely nullified Zac as a champion in that game. Mickey got player of the series, deservedly so, for helping Caps have a fantastic performance. I'm shouting out. I'm giving it to both bot laners for G2, but I loved the Janna pick alongside the Lulu, and it was draft kingdom in this series for G2, and that's why they come away with the 3-0 as Mark disappears. But my point was so good that he had to depart from Discord because he had no counterpoint, because that's just how good G2's drafting was. It looks like he might pop back up. I'm going to give him a recall on the Discord. We fade away into the darkness. I press call. Round 2.
We working? Maybe.
Are we back? We're back in black.
Are we back? Are we working?
I think we're back. Oh, I don't have mine now. Wait.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. This is League Online. We're talking about a whole bunch of different stuff, but right now we're talking about G2. And we also have to shout out, Perks played the most meta, 2 Azir games and a Corki. Like the Corki Azir meta, literally a meme here, but he was solid. Wonder stepped up in a big way. It was basically the question marks, the bot side and top side of G2 that stepped up the most, which should have been the biggest advantages for Fnatic, and they were not at all in this set.
Yeah, and then as you said, in that third game, you had the Azir that was fed here on Nemesis, and you're right, it was simply up to the question marks on difference makers in that third game at the very least, let alone in the entirety of the series here. They really stepped up their play and their performances, and I think the story needs to be in equal parts about the failures of Fnatic and not being able to adapt and change, as well as their individual performances on the day. But you absolutely need to tip your cap and give credit to the G2 side, and the execution that they brought to the table that day was certainly of a championship caliber.
And now the G2 roster with Caps, 3 splits in a row. They've won 7 of the 9 splits that G2 has been in the LEC for. They've won, which is absolutely nutty. They now have the same as Fnatic with 7 to their name. Obviously, probably the greatest organization in European history now, just because they haven't been there as long as Fnatic, and they have as many titles. And by the way, Jankos picked up MVP for spring. The last 4 MVPs are all on G2. And it's only 2 players, by the way, Caps and Jankos. That is...
It is
whew,
a crazy level of domination coming through from G2 at that top level. And again, it's not without its own challengers and lists of tough foes to go up against in these situations here. We've had talk a lot about these situations where G2 is so great and so dominant, and then they have a little week here or there here where they slip up type of things. And one of these other top dog teams in the LEC shows us something, shows us that level of play here that makes you want to believe that, yep, there's going to be a challenger here to take them down. But time and time again, this G2 roster, their star players, the coaching staff, they come through here in these moments and get it done and become champions, once again.
7 of 9 for G2. But for the first time in 6 years, Cloud9 wins an LCS title. This is the first time since the original lineup with Balls, Sneaky, Meteos, High, and Lemon Nation. It would have been disappointing if it didn't happen in any way. We were absolutely expecting this series to be a 3-0, not the G2 Fnatic one. Game 1 was close. FlyQuest had some moments, but after that, it was all Cloud9. They introduced webcams for the first time since everything's been remote. It had some issues. They forgot to put delay on the webcam, so AFK Cloud9 beat FlyQuest. And let me tell you, the home webcams for FlyQuest, I think guys they're not trying to hide anything. They look even more tilted than they do when they're on stage, when you're cutting to everybody grabbing the facial hair, rubbing the eyes,
Damn,
it was tough sled.
As soon as I saw Wild Turtle's cam, which again, Wild Turtle pretty much untiltable. The
forehead cam
in the entirety of esports. And he's pretty much got only a quarter of his body left on the camera because he's pretty much like this, focusing in and tilted into the game type of situation here, the body language and everything. It was great. Hey, and this is, again, full props and credit to the LCS production crew and everything that they've done through. It's an incredible job here to get this level of production done here in the situation that we're living in with COVID-19 and everything like that. And certainly, again, everyone would have loved to have been there for the finals here, but we got a good show. And at the very least here, I know it's different, a lot of feelings of other finals. This finals, Cloud9, that was the whole story here. You wanted, maybe we were hoping to see a tough fight here in type of situation, but deep down you knew, you know what? No one's going to challenge Cloud9 this way. I want to see them swerve, and I want to see the dominance come through. Show me exactly why you are a 17-1 team here and the champions for the 2020 spring split. They did exactly that.
17-1 in the regular season, 9-1 in playoffs for a 26-2 overall record in the spring split. And thankfully, for most of the other teams in the LCS2, now, of course, this entire season is just remembered as the split that Cloud9 absolutely bodied everybody else. And we forget, oh yeah, Team Liquid didn't even make playoffs. TSM kind of disappointed. The overall competition was incredibly mediocre. No. Cloud9 dominated. That's it. Nothing else happened.
Yeah, and look, and all those are more than fair, I would say. And when you look back on the split and everything about it here, I still don't want to take away here from the story of Cloud9 and this championship here. It's been many years in the making here, not only for the Cloud9 organization, but for the coaching staff and, of course, a couple of the players on this roster, as we've seen. This has been a labor of love to get to this point here, Captain Jack, and this is really feeling good here, I know, for the Cloud9 faithful that have been overlooked here by some of these, of their brethren here in the long-standing LCS teams like Team Solo Mid. And then, of course, more recent success with Team Liquid, and then even new flashy franchises coming through, stealing your thunder like 100 Thieves here. Cloud9 says, look, we are one of the OGs here. We are an incredible talent organization here, and you're going to be standing in our way here because you know what? 2020 champions in spring, they'll be certainly setting their sights on summer 2020 as well.
Yeah, I expect them to still be near the top, if not at the very top of the tables for summer.
It's only 3 weeks. They're not going to get bad.
Basically the same split. Yeah, they're not even going to get time off. Where are you going to go to vacation right now? Nobody, guys. You're going to keep playing solo queue.
It's perfect for NA. There's no international event for us to screw up at and ruin our confidence here. You're going to be riding high. Cloud9 feeling
Till
amazing
July.
all the time, it's going to be great.
Until July, MSI rolls in, and they're in the middle of a slump in the summer split, and, they disappoint. But we're happy Cloud9 won.
This is the real secret here. MSI, it's going to be played on NA servers here, but everyone's not going to be able to come to NA. It's the Cloud9 extra. Thank
smart.
you, AT&T. We're getting through that, the fiber optics here. It's all going to be in favor of NA.
Let's see if we can beat Korea and China when they're on 200 ping. Ha ha ha. All of a sudden, no. It just makes it even more painful to lose. But Blabber also picked up MVP for the split, so that's back-to-back Cloud9 junglers getting MVP. They were on the same team. They had 2 MVPs.
And I've loved this answer, because, again, before this split, the talk was it's a coin flip for Blabber. You're either going to get top 3 jungler or you're going to get bottom 3 jungler here. And as we kept seeing week after week after week,
it's a rigged coin,
in the
man.
LCS, it was a weighted coin that was always coming up, Blabber, 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 and it was always good performances here for C9. Again, I know that this can't always be the trend here. It can't always be perfection moving forward here. But this level of play, this level of coordination from Cloud9, and again, all initiated from Blabber, it really is a treat to watch.
And Sven, first player to win EU and NA, of course. And you heard Shox did a post-game interview with all the guys. And towards the end, Reaper said, to wrap things up, I don't know how TSM didn't win with Sven. He's a really great player. I don't know what they're doing over their talent suppression machine. So you got to throw in one final shot for TSM at the end of the spring split. Sven laughed along with it, of course. And his G2 brethren and Perks giving him a shout out. Excited to see Cloud9 and G2, Perks versus Sven. When MSI, if MSI does roll around whatever continent it's being played on, maybe we'll figure that out eventually. There were games already on Monday. The playoffs already kicked off. Damwon took down KT Rolster in the first round of LCK, and they were matched up against Dragon X in the next round. Best of 5s in the LCK, and we looked like we were full steam ahead to keep the 3-0 dream going. And then Damwon, and specifically Canyon, finally showed up in the series. They won 2. They forced a 5th game. It was pretty decisive in the favor of Dragon X. But, I mean, Dragon X overall, the more consistent team without a doubt. Chovy had some fantastic performances. But the bot lane of Kyria and Deft were absolutely the standouts throughout this series.
Hey, as you said, I'm not going to dispute that Chovy had some fantastic performances in the wins for DRX. But let me just say, the reason why we didn't have a 3-0 series here, Choki decided to enter the chat room.
The Irelia game, he was so strong, man. He was so strong.
Yeah, and look, mostly clean and good performances here from Chovy, but a little bit of Choki showing up. But you're right. The real story is about Deft and the work that he was putting through, man. That is MVP caliber level performance coming through from Deft. This was really the series. And again, as you got to the later points here, proving how much he wants to get this DRX squad to keep making it through here in these playoffs. Another one here for Deft in the DRX squad.
And give some love to Kyria as well. We've kind of talked about this before, but this guy, man, his first split in the LCK, and you're legitimately talking about him being the best support in Korea. In his rookie split, when have you ever heard of a player reaching those highs or reaching that ceiling so quickly?
And it's crazy because you're watching this bot lane, and how many times has it been really, a play that Deft makes where you're like, oh man, that was nasty, and how many times has it actually been Kyria that is making these plays that is the nasty engages and getting these things done? And you're like, man, that doesn't happen if it's not for that type of play here. He really has stepped up and delivered some fantastic performances here in this rookie split. It really has been a fun story to watch here with this DRX squad, but that is going to be one of those points of concerns as you get here into the later parts of this gauntlet. And as we look here, your next opponent on Wednesday is the big old T1 organization, and you're looking at that, and man, there is a lot of experience and a lot of playoff experience on that squad here, and you're looking at DRX and some of the rookies that you've got there, and the veteran edge that T1 should have in a situation in series best of 5, like this. It's going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, and T1 will definitely be the favorites going into that series, but I expect a hard-fought one. There are a lot of rookie or young players as well, like Doran versus Kana. Yeah, Doran has some experience back with Griffin, and now he has this full split under his belt. He was expected to be the starter, whereas Kana wasn't necessarily in the preseason. But there's still a lot. There's a lot of veterans, and there's a lot of youth in both of these teams when they do match up. But jumping back to Kyria real quick, I've never watched a couple of Karma support games and been so excited about that pick. Just seeing him completely zone solo laners or AD carries out of fights, flashing in aggressively. I haven't seen Karma played like that very much.
I've never seen Karma played like that. I tell you what, Karma, maybe one Faker performance on Karma, and even then I'm still not a big fan.
Yeah, maybe
of
full
Karma.
AP or tank top lane Karma played like that.
Right,
sure.
Normally it's Resident Sleeper when the Karma is picked out here. Not these ones with Kyria. He was really doing something nasty on that champ.
Yeah, but Damwon, their spring split ends. They never really fully got things on track. This entire series was kind of a shortened tale of their entire season. The first two games, this is a playoff team. Oh, okay. And then they kind of bounced back. Oh, I see the potential. Nuggery and Canyon. Yeah, okay. This team looks good. Just kidding. Game 5 rolls around and you're like, okay. So that's where we stand on Damwon.
What about shout outs to Doran's Game 5 Aurelia pick coming through here, getting the full confidence from CV Max to play that type of carry champion in that deciding game, and steps up and delivers that carry performance. Definitely like what I saw from him, and that is going to be a big one. That's a big player heading into the matchup against T1 against Kana, which again, Kana has been very strong for T1. So they're going to be relying and counting on him to deliver some things in this series here. But at the same point in time, if you are Doran and you are this kind of, more veteran member compared to Kana, you got to be attacking that matchup here. And you have the skill and the champion pool here to do so and really make that a pressure point in this series.
I can't wait to see the double tank matchup. Faker versus Chovy, and then it's the carries in the top lane, Kana versus Doran. That's gonna happen. I can see it. How many times has Kana been playing Lucian or some other kind of carry, and Doran pulling out the Irelia 5-0 and 11 on it?
We're gonna get that Lulu mid here from Faker type of
Lulu
situation.
Karma matchup.
Teddy on the Kog'Maw. There we go.
I want to see some Karma Lulu in that mid lane. But that's on Wednesday. We'll recap all of that. And the other huge series on Monday, first you had in the LPL, WE versus OMG, matching up for the final playoff spot. It was World Elite getting a perfect game in the third game to get that 8th seed. But the main course, Top Esports versus Fun plus Phoenix. Game 1 was pretty crazy. We're talking 50 minutes back and forth. LPL special with TES coming out with the W, and they actually did it, Mark. They 2-0'd them with Jackie Love on the roster. It is the first time that this version of FPX has been 2-0'd. Not just in 2020, ever.
When you hear an incredible stat like that, I want you, number one, to take your moment here and acknowledge the greatness that FPX had to have that type of stat with them here. But at the exact same time, following right up here is the celebration, and the hype train is fully left the station. It's over. I told you, buy your tickets. Woo. Jackie Love is joining Top Esports. Get on this hype train here, or we're leaving the station. We've already left the station. Playoffs is the very next stop here. Top Esports is chugging along, and they're looking good.
This train that Top was on in the final week, it accelerates quickly. Starts with a 2-0 over Victory 5, and you're like, okay, that's an anthill of a hurdle to get over to. Then they stop at E-Star 2-0 against the young rookies, who sure have been on a bit of a downward trajectory the second half of the split, but still, solid playoff team, 2-0'd, no problem. And then it's the defending world champions that they match up against next, and it's another clean 2-0. TES absolutely finding the momentum heading into playoffs.
And look, I think Karsa maybe still needs to clean some things up. I think that could be an area that you can look at here for Top, which is scary given the performances that they've given us here. But it is the performances that we've been getting. The big things here has been Knight and Jackie Love really stepping up and delivering some fantastic carry performances coming through here. The first game in this series, big props to Knight and the work that he was getting done in this one. And then I think in game 2, the big story here comes through again. It is still Knight doing his work, but Jackie Love coming through here. And these two carries for this squad, it is going to be extremely scary matching up against top.
Yeah, and they both picked up MVPs in this series. Doinby and Kanavi, by the way, finishing at the top of the man of the match tables with 13 apiece in the spring split. And with this win for top, it puts FPX outside of the top two, so they don't have a bye. And now it's JD Gaming who are actually sitting in that second seed right behind IG for playoffs, which I don't think many people would have expected, but they have a 7-game win streak heading into playoffs. Ever since Zoom has come back to the lineup, they've looked like an absolute force on the Rift.
He's been a major difference maker for the JDG squad. Look, as we know last year when it was in playoffs here, doubting them and what they would be able to get accomplished here. And we're looking at this year again here, looking to be the underdog, sweeping through here to make this one. And look, we've talked about it again in the LCK about how quick it was going to be in the gauntlet here. It's going to be another speed run here through these playoffs in the LPL. You better be ready for match after match after match after match here, hitting it quick here, rapid fire.
Yeah, it starts on Wednesday as well. And the first round matchups, first you have Team WE versus eStar. eStar should be big favorites in that, even though World Elite just secured their win over OMG to get that final spot. eStar should be the massive favorites. And then RNG versus EDG in round 1. That's how you know it is a truly different era of the LPL that we're watching right now.
That was almost exclusively reserved for semifinals or finals. This type of matchup here between these
first round.
Hitting it off early here in the first round. You don't want to miss this one. These are storied organizations here. Still a lot of star players going through. You want to be here for these ones, and especially here in this playoff matchup, you don't want to be missing out because star organizations here, big time pressure on these ones to come through here. And again, this is RNG without Uzi here, and they're still at this level. Want to see what they can do in these playoffs.
Yeah, because Uzi didn't play at all in spring. He's not qualified to play in playoffs. You have to play at least a series to be part of playoffs. So it's not going to be Uzi, which means EDG will and should be pretty big favorites heading into that match. They've looked a lot better, especially with Gigi and Janu since they've come back into the lineup. So EDG should be the favorites there. IG and JDG, like I said, they have a bye right to the semis, so they're locked in for top 4. The winners, assuming it's eStar versus EDG, will move on to the next rounds to face FPX and TES. And the bracket in the LPL.
What a treat that the next level is top at FPX. My God.
Imagine going, all right, World Elite. All right, this should gradually get more difficult. Top or FPX. Oh, whew. Yeah. This scales a little bit quickly.
And, North America, you get by the Golden Guardians, you get by Dignitas. Up next is 100 Thieves. No. That's not how we're doing it over here in the LPL. Top eSports and RNG. Get ready.
Yeah, the top 5 in the LPL is absolutely nutty. Even throw in top 6 because EDG have looked pretty good. You throw EDG in NA, they probably take a game off Cloud9, in the finals, and immediately.
Nah, stop! I don't want to rain on Cloud9's parade.
No, Cloud9. Listen,
let the fans enjoy it. We're all good.
I really hate that we can just poop on Cloud9 for beating up on a subpar region, and they're not actually a good team. Come on, they're obviously a good team. This is a historic level of dominance. Even if it's one of the worst iterations of the LCS, we've never seen a team dominate the league that badly. I want to see them internationally so that we can at least get more of a measuring stick. And I think people will stop pooping on them when they can actually show up, because unlike so many North American champions of past, looking at you specifically, Team Liquid and TSM, this is not a passive team from NA. Not passive.
Not passive. There's multiple members on the roster that you could really talk about with the passive thing, but especially with Blabber there. No. It's not passive whatsoever here with Cloud9. I wanted to just quickly say that I am really happy for Sven here getting this championship in North America. I was hoping that he would succeed with TSM, and I wanted to see that. I thought that he really he didn't have to, but I think that this has been a guy that has said, look, I know that everyone memes on NA, and I've memed on NA type of situation, but as long as I'm here and I'm playing for an NA organization, I'm going to be busting my ass, and I'm going to be busting my teammates' asses to work as hard as possible here to get to that next level. It didn't work out with TSM, and with Cloud9 here, you found success in this first year. You've got a fan base here that is excited to have this guy as a star player here. And again, they weren't initially, a lot of people were questionable with Sneaky coming in and things like that. I think this really has developed into a great situation, not only for Sven, but especially for the Cloud9 organization. And I hope that we can see this for multiple splits and seasons moving forward.
Go watch the announcement video of Sven signing with Cloud9 and count how many dislikes are on that video. You have dislikes now if you're a Cloud9 fan. He came, conquered, got an LCS title, and we didn't give a shout out to them, but I feel like we should, to FlyQuest, because in a normal split where there isn't all of this crazy pandemic going around, the fact that FlyQuest made it to the finals, they beat Evil Geniuses, who looked like the best team. They were probably underdogs in that matchup. They beat TSM, who looked ready for a deep run in playoffs, and Team Liquid, of course, didn't make playoffs. But FlyQuest had a great split. They have absolutely nothing to be disappointed about. They should be proud and encouraged with how well this roster worked and getting it this far into their playoff run. They just met an absolute titan that nobody in North America was beating. But great season from the FlyQuest boys.
Yeah, FlyQuest simply is just not benefiting here from the fact that this show here and the amount of time that we're going to have, got to hit on the winners here from this weekend type of situation here. But you're absolutely right. As far as the losers go in these type of finals here, FlyQuest has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of about what they've accomplished this split here and the growth that they've shown here and what they can build off of this. This is an incredibly important split for not only the actual players and the team and performance here, but the organization itself. Developed its own identity and brand here around this Go Green initiative here, which I think almost
a lot of new fans for them.
Look, I don't know where, if you've got an extra Earth in your back pocket, but we've only got one of them here. And so if FlyQuest is down for supporting and trying to help it out, I am all for that here with FlyQuest. And again, as we've said, their players, a lot of them are some of our favorites here in the scene. Wild Turtle, Power of Evil, Ignar, really great people, really great players. And again, the last story I want to touch on here with FlyQuest is Solo in the top lane. A lot of people talking about it here. A guy who missed out on getting on a spot, even on an academy roster here, even knowing what he's been able to accomplish in the past here seemed odd, and knowing all these things, to get his opportunity here, to take it as seriously as he did and run with it and deliver the performances and play on that top side for a FlyQuest that they really needed here throughout these playoffs. It really is a big thing for him, and I want to say good work here for Solo.
He better be starting come week 1 in summer for FlyQuest. If not, on some LCS team, give this man a chance. All they need to do is sign Doublelift, and then they're a world's contender, right? They're ready to go.
Feels bad. Wild Turtle, my man. Don't do him dirty again.
I love Turtle, but, if you can sign Doublelift. But yeah, FlyQuest, overall, great season. And that's it for a while for the LCS and LEC. We still got all the playoffs in LPL and LCK to get throughout this week and into the weekend. We'll be recapping them all here on League on Lock. Mark and Eric here with you guys as always. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you on the Flibbity Flop.